During the fighting in the Kozelsk direction in August of 1942, reconnaissance of the 142nd Guards Rifle Regiment of the 47th Guards Rifle Division discovered a little boy in the forest. He was covered in scabs from insect bites and could neither stand nor speak normally. The scouts brought the baby to the headquarters dugout. The boy said that his name was Sergei and his last name was Aloshkin. When asked about his parents, the child could not answer anything. He just started to cry. Later it turned out that the boy's father had died before the war. The older brothers Ivan and Andrei went to the front, and the Nazis shot the mother and 10-year-old brother Petya for their connection with the partisans. They decided to leave the boy at the headquarters of the regiment, and the commander of the regiment, Mikhail Danilovich Vorobyov, officially adopted Serozha on September 8th of 1942. In early November of 1942, Vorobyov's regiment was sent to Stalingrad. Sergei Aloshkov had recovered by that time. A uniform and even boots were sewn for him. And the boy considered himself the adjutant of the regiment commander. Every morning Serozha came to the headquarters with a report on his readiness to carry out assignments. The kid usually delivered newspapers and letters to the divisions, read poems to the soldiers as well as sang songs. Aloshkov accomplished his first feat on November 7th when he distributed the festive issue of the Krasnaya Zvezda, Red Star newspaper, to the units. The boy got noticed that Nazi fire spotters hid in a haystack along with a walkie-talkie. Returning to the headquarters of the regiment, Sergei reported this to the commander of artillery reconnaissance. The enemy spotters were neutralized. When shoulder straps were introduced in the Red Army in 1943, Sergei was jokingly given the shoulder straps of a junior lieutenant. This incidentally was the cause of the wounding of the little soldier. Nazi pilots returning from an air raid spotted an officer with shiny epaulets. The pilots fired their machine guns, and one bullet hit Sergei in the heel. The boy was sent to the hospital, but after being cured, he returned to the regiment again, which was welcomed both at the headquarters and in all units, since the baby had long been a universal favorite. Sergei ran after his adoptive father like a tail. This saved the life of the regiment commander. Once, during an artillery shelling, Vorobyov threw the boy into the slot, a narrow pit in which they hid from raids. And he himself jumped into the dugout. A few seconds later, a shell hit the dugout. The boy, realizing that he himself could not pull out his father, ran after the sappers, which dug up the regiment commander. For this feat, Sergei Aloshkov was awarded the Medal for Military Merit. In the order for the award, a mistake was made in the surname, but the feat of the little soldier is described correctly. To award the pupil of the regiment Aloshkin Sergei Andreevich for the fact that during his stay in the regiment since September 8, 1942, together with the regiment he went through a responsible combat path. In November 18, 1942, he was wounded. As a child, always cheerful, he fell in love with the regiment, command, and all those people around him. With his cheerfulness, love for the unit and those around him in extremely difficult moments, he inspired courage and confidence in victory. Comrade Aloshkin is the regiment's favorite. And the commander of the 8th Guards Army, the legendary General Chuikov, awarded Serozha with a captured pistol Walther. Together with his adoptive father, Serozha more than once found himself 2 steps away from death. In May of 1943, Serozha, while crossing the Severny Donets River, was overturned by a blast wave, on which Sergei Aloshkov was sitting. The baby was saved by an unknown fighter who immediately dived after the drowning child. The second case was just a childish prank of a child, which could have ended tragically. Sergei decided to take a ride on an ambulance cart pulled by sheepdogs. But the dogs, seeing the running mongrel, rushed after her, pulling the cart in the direction of the enemy's trenches. With great difficulty, Soviet soldiers managed to catch up with the rider on a motorcycle. After forcing the Dnieper, the regimental commander Vorobyov and Sergei miraculously remained alive. Returning in a jeep from the army headquarters, they accidentally hit one of the cleared mines lying on the shore. From the explosion, the driver died immediately. Vorobyov was shell-shocked, but Sergei was simply thrown out of the car. The child did not receive a single scratch. In the same year, in 1944, already in Poland, the frontline service of Sergei Lyshkov ended. By order of the commander of the 62nd Army, Vasily Chuikov, Sergei was sent to the Tula Suvorov School. The boy was initially rejected for health reasons. But after the intervention of Chuikov, he was nevertheless accepted. At the school, Alyoshkov took up sambo and boxing, then entered the higher military school, but the frontline hardships made themselves felt. Therefore, after graduating from the Kharkov Law Institute, Alyoshkov began working as an investigator, then moved to Chelyabinsk, where he worked as a prosecutor for a long time. The last years of his life, Alyoshkov worked as a legal advisor at the Chelyabinsk glass factory. Sergei Andreevich died at a bus stop on February 1st, 1990. His adoptive father survived his stepson by only a year.